Hey there, my name is Stephen Pollitt. I am the creator and honored steward of Source Energy Medicine, bringing you this third video in this extension to the Quick Start Guide. And I'm not bragging, but this is a good one. In this video, we're going to explore what to me is one of the most exciting, fascinating aspects of human life. It affects my behavior, my thoughts, my feelings, and in many ways determines not only the course and direction of my life, but ultimately, to a very large degree, determines the outcome. I know it sounds very dramatic, and it definitely is intense. You see, this aspect will either act as your strongest ally and your greatest asset, or your most vicious and insidious enemy that will undermine and sabotage your best efforts. And this aspect that I am somewhat cleverly alluding to is the subconscious mind. I'm curious, did you guess that right? And if you guessed this right, you likely have either read Heal Thyself or attended one of my workshops. And if you've done neither of those and you guessed this right, you definitely deserve bonus points. I know I've mentioned the subconscious mind a few times in previous clips, and here today we're going to explore this topic in a way that's likely going to leave you shocked and perhaps a bit pissed. And at the same time, hopefully inspired to take action and to put Source Energy Medicine to work straight away. The subconscious mind to me is the great frontier. It's the frontier of the leading edge of exploration into human behavior, human physiology, wellness, dis-ease, and ultimately to what can lead to being able to maximize human potential and in every regard. Some best-selling authors and speakers like Tony Robbins, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Bob Proctor, Dr. Bruce Lipton, Greg Braden, and Rob Williams are among some of the most exciting voices in this area. I was invited last year to present a keynote lecture at an energy healing symposium in Boston, and my presentation was titled The Subconscious Mind, the Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde of our mind. And while it's somewhat a clever title, it's actually quite accurate. And you might be wondering, this is interesting, but how can one aspect be either my greatest asset or my biggest enemy? And that's a brilliant question. As we discussed in the last clip about the calibration of the molecules in the healthy versus the diseased and dying tree, well, guess what? The same principle applies here. And you will likely be shocked to learn that the subconscious mind is believed to be, by many leading edge researchers, to be as much as 20,000 times more powerful than the conscious mind or any other aspect of our being, like the mental, physical, or spiritual aspect, for example. Now, to illustrate this point, I like to use the example of a board of directors who gather together for their annual meeting. On this board, every aspect has one vote except for the subconscious mind, who has 20,000 votes. I mean, come on, that is the most corrupt board of directors imaginable, and I definitely would not want to serve on that board unless I had a very strong alliance to the subconscious mind, or I was a subconscious mind. In the first video in this series, you heard me describe my life as before Source Energy Medicine and after. And one of the biggest game changers for me was when I transformed my subconscious mind. And to illustrate this further, let me tell you a story about an 84-year-old man I had the amazing honor and privilege to work with several years ago. He was an international spiritual leader, best-selling author, had appeared on Oprah numerous times, and just about every other popular talk show imaginable over the years. When I started working with him, he had very progressed and advanced stages of Alzheimer's and dementia. He had long-term diabetes and took insulin shots regularly. He had hypertension, which is high blood pressure. He was experiencing gout and honestly a number of other ailments, and literally required a full-time nurse to help take care of him and to dispense the numerous medications he was taking every day. Now, the Alzheimer's and dementia were so progressed that it looked as if he was going to spend the rest of his life in seclusion because he started to become verbally inappropriate. And within 6 months, his nurse and his closest friends described him as being more clear and more lucid than he was even when he was in his 60s. He was off almost all of his medications, including all of the medications for diabetes, and his blood sugar levels were completely in the typical range and consistently. His blood pressure was also in the typical range. And he went on to write 4 or 5 more books. He traveled the world nonstop, literally serving in his mission for another 4 or maybe 5 years, until one day he said he was feeling tired, wasn't feeling so good, so he laid down to take a nap, and he very peacefully died. And he was surrounded by some of his closest friends. Now, while all of that is, to me, nothing short of miraculous, to me what is most interesting is here was this deeply spiritual man who literally devoted his life to God and to his guru and led a life of complete service for over 65 years. The spiritual aspect of his being was calibrated among the highest I had encountered, even to date. Based on all of the physical challenges, was obviously calibrated like the energy described in the dis-ease tree. At first, I couldn't understand why his spiritual aspect didn't have a more profound positive impact on his overall well-being, and you might have guessed it already, his subconscious mind was calibrated very low, and therefore undermining any potential positive benefits he could gain from his spiritual, mental, or emotional, or really every other aspect of his being. The other aspects didn't stand a chance against the subconscious mind. And I firmly believe if we didn't have this awareness and the technology to be able to completely transform his subconscious mind in this example, I'm highly confident that we would have had little, if any, success, and the rest of his life would have been very, very different than what it was. This is one aspect of source energy medicine that is unique and another foundational cornerstone to our entire methodology. Having a low calibrating subconscious mind, it honestly seems to be universal. And I'm basing that statement on the thousands of clients that I personally have assessed over the years. You know, let me put it to you this way. Since 2005, I have not yet found anyone whose subconscious mind is calibrated above this weakening level. And when we transform the subconscious mind, the rest of the work is in many regards, it's elegant, it's filled with grace and ease, especially when compared to trying to heal any aspect of life with a subconscious mind that's calibrated low, which to me was, before source energy medicine, that work was cathartic, it was painful, it was slow, and like I really had to grind it out even to make minor progress. I have to laugh at myself because I used to think that the subconscious mind was the root of all evil, and I wanted to just eradicate it, to kill it, to destroy it by any means necessary, and I would have had it honestly surgically removed if that was an option. And boy, was that a limited perspective. I was only seeing the Dr. Jekyll, the most vicious and insidious enemy. And this is why transforming the subconscious mind turns this same aspect into my winning formula, my greatest asset and my strongest ally. This is very similar to the example that I used in a previous video about the principles of yin and yang, transforming an unfriendly bacteria to a friendly bacteria. I'm intrigued by Tony Robbins, both him personally and by his work. He's one of the few people on this planet who really grasps the power of the subconscious mind, and his work attempts to explore both the subconscious and the conscious side of the healing equation. You know, he has spent most of his adult life exploring tools to help us to be able to transcend both conscious and subconscious limiting beliefs. And I'm highly curious if after all of these years, if there's still work that could possibly benefit Tony personally. As successful and well-rounded a human as he is, and for me, he certainly stands out as one of the very few individuals on this planet who has achieved a high level of success and in every aspect of life, and this has been true over an extended period of time. And yet, I remain highly curious, is the calibration of his subconscious mind still creating a ceiling, ultimately limiting his total and true potential? I certainly don't know yet, but I'm often like a curious little kid, and I'm kind of thinking out loud here, and yet it paints a profound picture as I'm thinking about this. And I honestly look forward to the day when I have the opportunity to find out the answer to this intriguing question. Tony has helped millions and millions of people around the world, and it would bring me tremendous joy to be able to help him in some way. And now, you, my new friend, and I have some work to do. And I want to caution you here, because the subconscious mind is genius, and it will come up with the most creative ways to delay you in getting started and provide really logical, rational, highly intelligent reasons why not to explore source energy medicine. The subconscious mind loves playing the role of the saboteur, and it feeds on setbacks and seeming failures and false starts. And did I mention it loves procrastination? Procrastination is one of its favorite tools. So as if this doesn't sound bleak enough, when the subconscious mind calibrates low, its partner is the ego. And that is the most villainous partnership. I think even the most creative Hollywood screenwriter could not create a character equal to the viciousness of this partnership. Conversely, when the subconscious mind calibrates high, ideally in alignment with my soul or my higher self, this is what I believe to be the way that our Creator intended the subconscious mind to function. The other version is human-made, human-created, and when calibrated low, it's not out to inconvenience you, it's out to humiliate you, make sure you stay, or at least you think, that you're weak, that you are wounded, that you're a victim of life and a victim of circumstances. I believe this partnership is what is behind everyone who has ever experienced self-destructive behavior. And the inspiring news is that when you employ source energy medicine and simply follow the sample protocol, most people are able to transform their subconscious mind completely and in a wholesale manner in its entirety in less than 90 days. And then the subconscious mind functions to serve and support you to be able to step into your true potential, into what I believe is your birthright, and ultimately step into your life's purpose and your life's mission from a place of true empowerment. In an earlier clip, I talked about the universal law of cause and effect, and I invite you to ponder cause and effect and everything that I just shared about the subconscious mind. I think you'll find it's profound. I hope this clip was helpful, and if you're not inspired to take action, either you completely were not paying attention, or your subconscious mind is already at work trying to sabotage and undermine your efforts. And it honestly can be a bit of a catch-22 for the first 60 to 90 days of exploring source energy medicine. And it can require sheer willpower and commitment to just hang in there and get it done. I've heard from a lot of folks who team up with an accountability partner or a source energy medicine partner, someone with whom you can have a shared experience and support each other. I think it's a great way to help to ensure your success. And the good news is, you are less than 90 days away from a completely fresh start, and everything in life has to be different. It can't not. The only way it'll stay the same is if you don't follow through. And that's what the next video in the series is all about. I'll share what I have found to be one of the most consistent keys to sticking with source energy medicine and to achieve all of your goals. That's all I have for you in this clip. In the box below, please leave a comment. Let me know how this information that I shared with you in this clip really landed for you. And I'd love to see you make a firm commitment to transforming your subconscious mind. Choose a definitive date that you will start source energy medicine. Remember, I do read every single comment, and that always is a highlight of my day.